The human respiratory system. The respiratory system's function is to allow gas exchange to all parts of the body, the space between the alveoli and the capillaries. The anatomy or structure of the exchange system and the precise psychology uses of the exchange gases vary depending on the organism. In humans and other mammals, for example, the anatomical features of the respiratory system include airway, lungs, and the respiratory muscles. Molecules of oxygen and carbon dioxide are passively exchanged by diffusion. Between the gaseous external environment and the blood, the exchange process occurs in the alveolar region of the lungs. This is gas exchange. Gas exchange takes place at a respiratory surface, a boundary between the external environment and the interior of the organism. For unicellular organisms, the respiratory surface is governed by Fick's law, which determines that respiratory surfaces must have a large surface, a thin permeable surface, a moist exchange surface. Gas exchange in humans. In humans and mammals, respiratory gas exchange or ventilation is carried out by mechanisms of the heart and lungs. The blood is subjected to a transient electric field, QRS waves of the EKG, in the heart, which dissipates molecules of a different charge. The blood, being a polar fluid, aligns dipoles to the electrical field is released, and then escalates in a dampened, driven escalation to form J or Osborn waves, T, U, and V waves. The electric field exposure or sequential dampened, driven escalation dissociation from gas and hemoglobin, primarily CO2. But more important, BPG, which has a higher affinity for hemoglobin than does oxygen, due in part to its opposite charge. Completely dissociated hemoglobin, which will even diverse in its electrical field, is too strong. The reason defibrillation joules are limited to avoid bubble emboli that may clog vessels in the lung. Enters the lung and red blood cells to be oxygenated. And we're going to go to red blood cells next. Red blood cells are also referred to as erythrocytes, and are most common type of blood cell and the vertebrate organism's principal mass of delivering oxygen to the body tissues via the blood flow through the circulatory system. They take up oxygen in the lungs or gills and release it while squeezing through the body's capillaries. These cells' cytoplasm is rich in hemoglobin, an iron-containing biomolecule. They can bind oxygen and is responsible for the blood's red color. In humans, mature red blood cells are flexible Banokov discs that lack a cell nucleus and most organelles. The cells develop in bone marrow and circulate for about 100 to 120 days in the body before the components are recycled by macrophages. When oscillates undergo shear stress in constricted vessels, they release ATP, which causes the vessel walls to relax and dilate so as to promote normal blood flow. When their hemoglobin molecules are deoxygenated, endothelius release S-nitrosatides, which also acts to dilate vessels, thus directing more blood to areas of the body depleted of oxygen. Erythrocytes also play a part in the body's immune response. When lashed by pathogens such as bacteria, their hemoglobin releases free radicals that break down the pathogen's cell wall membrane, killing it.